Hi, I'm Wes Turnbull, and one of the things I noticed about the hobby is that a lot of people really don't know how to solder very well. So today I'd like to take you through a few steps and skills that you can learn to become a master solderer yourself. The things you will need are a good soldering iron, some good solder. Today I'm using a lead-free rosin core solder, which is available in just about any hobby store or local electronics store and some hardware stores. Make sure you get the TV or electronic type solder because it works better in this application. Another thing to consider is you could splatter yourself with the rosin core solder, so a good pair of safety glasses or goggles. If you can't afford to buy one of these, is you can make a simple little platform out of a piece of plywood and 3 or 4 little clothes pegs that are wood. They just glue on there with CA. If you drill a hole dead center in the middle here as well, you can use this to hold an electric motor while you're working on it. You start with a good soldering iron. We use this type in our store. It is good for up to about 500 degrees. It's got adjustable temperature, which is on the front here. And it's telling you right now that I'm at about 430 degrees. Basic skill for making a puddle on top of a cell is wetting your iron, bringing your iron into the material, bring the solder in and start the flow of solder, and just move your iron a little like so they get semi-round circle. So we're going to replace the blue EC3 connector on this battery with a Traxxas high current connector. Find something to hold the plug vertically, come in from the top like that, whack it, and it'll come out from the other side and you'll be exposed like this. Be very careful with exposed connections like this. With a lithium polymer battery, if you were to short these out, you can cause a fire and other serious damage. Now, with our little device that we created here earlier, we're going to use it to hold on to this plug here. Wet it a little bit so you can transfer the heat. And you want to stay towards the back of this plug because they're going inside of these connectors. You don't want to get solder on the outside. They have a little ridge that pops in, and that is not wanting to get solder on. It makes it more difficult to put the plug in. Eventually you'll see the solder change from that gray color to a bright color. At that point it's liquid and you can pull this out. Alright, so we have the Traxxas connector, the female plastic body, and the 2 male terminals that go inside of the plug. And if you notice on here, we have a small line that is just beside the notches that go out. That is kind of the line you do not want to cross with solder, because if you go any further than that, this will be really difficult to install inside the plastic. So I want to bring this down on top of our puddle, bring our iron in, melt the puddle down, get a nice little shiny puddle like that, let it dry up. Take the sponge from our iron, cool it off, and now this is ready to be used. Here we have our capacitor, which has already been soldered onto one of the terminals, and we want to move this over to the other terminal now and bring in our iron with a little bit of solder on it, which is right there. Touch it to the work, make a quick little puddle, and when that hardens up, it is on there and won't come off, which is a sign of a good solder job. To install the wire is the same thing. We need to have a pre-tinned piece of wire, which is tinned, and we hold it to the terminal, bring the iron in, let it puddle up, harden, check your connection, and we're good to go. Always remember to return the soldering iron to the station. The last thing you want to do is have this sitting on the counter here and you put your hand down on it and give yourself a nasty burn. Hopefully the skills that I've demonstrated for you here will make you a better RCer at the bench.